I want to not get in front of the camera. Okay, yeah,
There we go.
that's okay. Cheryl Freeman, she is a friend on the Dutch Fork Historical Society Facebook page. And she's like, I wish I could come. And she goes, do you film these? And I said, no, anyone want to donate a camera? Well, she bought us a camera. So this is the first filming of the Dutch Fork Historical Society program. So, thank you, Cheryl. Yay, thank you. Yes. I was having some, I think my son was inquiring about what I was thinking about. I sometimes talk and it comes out of the blue, but it's complete in my head because I'm thinking, it just comes out of my mouth. But I told him I think about the history a lot. You know, when I go places, I intentionally go, that's Latitude. That's where your great-granddaddy lived before he moved to the farm. This is where this happened. This is where this came from. This is this and this is that. Because I want, I know they're going to pay attention later on. I want them to get it. And so we were driving to go get goat milk, because I drink goat milk. And my son was with me, my 14-year-old. He goes, oh, this is Latitude. I said, yep, it's Latitude. So, you know, talk about, tell about, and remind them frequently about history. Yes, and heirlooms. You know, this is someone. This belonged to some. You know, so and so. This belonged to so and so. This belonged to so and so. And you know, just remind them, tell them, so they don't forget. So maybe that's my Dutch Fork minute. Anyway, we have a very exciting speaker. I'm going to just let Mike, it's you, I'll let you, Lulu, you introduce yourself. This is Mike Bedenbaugh. He's incredibly knowledgeable about everything, and I'm excited to what projects. I wish I had money that I could donate.
Yeah.
I haven't, you know, I will have wealth at some point, so we'll get some of it. So we got to preserve the old buildings. So anyway, Mike Bedenbaugh.
Yay! Thank y'all. Thank you so much. As many of you know, I am a patriot of South Carolina, and especially one of the Dutch Fork. Just as background real quick, I was in the Navy for 5 years, and the first thing I did when I got in the Navy, after my hair was shorn and I was standing in line with a bunch of people I didn't know, just in my underwear, and realized that, oh my gosh, I'm not in Kansas anymore. And I sat down with my Blue Jackets manual in the Navy, and I opened it up, and there was the USS South Carolina nuclear powered guided missile cruiser. That's what I'm going to get on. And I served 5 years on that as a quartermaster. So then came back, quartermaster in the Navy is navigation. So always have to say that to the Army guys. So anyway, came back and ran a business out of New York and LA and all this stuff, and realized promoting bad movies was not my life's calling. And I I was on the board of Preservation South Carolina in the 90s, and for 10.5 years now I've been director of Preservation South Carolina. We are a nonprofit organization that is dedicated to saving, protecting, and advocating for our historic places. Places is the operative word. Just like Leisha said, it's about place. It's not just about structures. It's about the story of the people, the interaction, and we have no better story and documented interaction of a culture like the Dutch Fork and our German ancestors who came here. And just as an aside about my children, I promised my daughter I'd take her to Germany and look at the home, the home villages. So a year and a half ago, we went all over southern Germany. I visited the Kibler, the Schiele, the Bedenbaugh, and the Dominic home villages where the ancestors actually came from, which was absolutely wonderful. The one that was most impressive was the Schiele, because the old church from the 1500s was still standing, so we know little Schiele was there, and the old half-timbered house was still there next to it. So there's my little thing on Dutch Fork stuff. But what I want to do now is talk about Preservation South Carolina, what we do, over about half the presentation, and then bring it into context of what it is we're trying to do here, and talk about a project that we're working on. So, in the end, our society will be defined by not only what we create, but what we refuse to destroy. Sorry about that. Forgot my library. Oh, whisper.
Oh, be loud. Just be loud.
Everybody sees me coming, they know it's whispering isn't part of the program. So, just in Preservation, South Carolina, we have over the past years, without going into a lot of history of everything, we've done everything from saving an 800-turn brick mansion in Greenville by picking it up and moving it 3 blocks, to an 800-square-foot villa house on Defusky. Various ways to do that. We use real estate models and all of the things to do. We don't try to turn places into museums. They need to be living, they need to be breathing, they need to find people to invest in. That's what we try to do. This is our work all over the state. The A's mean that it's advocacy, where we advocated for a building. The E is where we hold easements, and this is how we save places in perpetuity. Is places we get hold of, either donated to us or we purchase, we then turn around and sell it to someone who is obligated to restore and maintain it. And that is done through the mechanism of an easement, preservation easement. They have full rights, full property rights with it, sell it, do whatever they want to within the guidelines that we say, okay? Primarily, they can't just tear them down and things like that, or turn them into fake terras, you know, a true history of the property. The 1P there is properties that we actually have for sale. So let me go. So one of the ways we do it, we have preservation funds. And these 9 preservation funds, we have regions all around the state where we focus a preservation fund. So before I get to our local one, which is Central Carolina, one of the mechanisms we're trying to do is to find properties that we can use to bring resources to those funds. We have the Carolina Theater in Spartanburg. This was just, oh, wonderful.
Okay.
We got hold of this a year ago, and it was it's a magnificent place, shut up since 1973, and we're in the middle of putting together the cost to get that restored. The Plantation House Hotel for the Upper Savannah Fund, this is in Edgefield. We have Society Hill's Historic Core. Anybody been to Society Hill before? Wonderful little town. One of the original areas called the Welch Neck, where Baptists settled in the 1740s. This is the core of the town. 15 acres, 8 structures, 4 properties, all built before 1860. And they're all available, and so we're really excited about that. The Thomas Company building in Ridgeway. Anybody been to Laura's Tea Room? Yeah, we're getting ready to be the proud owners of Laura's Tea Room, and working with Kathy, I think Kathy, who runs it, and we're going to leverage that so that she'll have a long-term lease in it. We're going to then have it on the market, and we're going to utilize those funds to help focus on the Central Carolina area. Now, what about the Dutch Fort? I took this from the Facebook page. I hope you don't mind, Alicia.
Oh, that's great.
So, the Dutch Fort. So we have done some work here in the Dutch Fort already. The thing we're most proud of is the Linder House. If you're familiar, the Linder House outside of Valentine. This is how it looked when we found it, with a big sign saying Walmart coming soon. And I've been bad. I didn't turn off my phone. Let me do this. Let me put it off so it don't bother us again.
The house doesn't look great there.
Well, it's covered in asbestos shingles and it looks rough, but I passed it and I knew it was something special inside. We knew it was going to be lost. We engaged in it. I got permission to go inside. This was inside. It's a log cabin, and look at this board and batten paneling and dental molded paneling inside. It was absolutely incredible. So,
what is, I see it down there, but what is the use of it now?
it's underused, and it's one of our frustrations. I mean, part of our process of doing this, we got all the funds together to get it moved and turned into this. Then finding someone to get it was really, really hard.
Has it been sold?
It has been sold. The people who own it I'm having to work with. They're not able to get things attracted to it. It's one of those things where its location, now that tree is gone where they widened the road there and did some things, and its location is really bad. You know, it's a beautiful old house that usually for those things to function as a space, you need to, people come and sit and chill, and it's not the most chillable place, you know. And what makes it so frustrating, where it was sitting was a big hole now. And the reason it had to be moved was the people who were developing it, not Walmart, but the developers, insisted they had a Chick-fil-A coming there. And they had to move it. Nothing's still there. And just the short-sightedness of it was so frustrating. And it would have been a lot easier to do something with it. It cost us, to move it and do what we did, it cost us an extra probably $45,000, $50,000 to move it when it, you know, we didn't have to do that. But we're working with them. And so the cabin, where the cabin is, if you can see how the windows are spaced, and then the cabin's right there. And there's the original door, and there was originally a window here. So that's that. But at least it's saved. The other one we had fun working on was the Kugler-Metz house, which originated in the Dutch Fort. And with the help of the Dutch Fort Museum group, we were able to raise enough money, get it moved. We have an easement on it. This is Jean Derrick, attorney in Lexington, that had it moved back behind her house, and now it's a wonderful gift shop.
It's beautiful,
It's
guys.
beautiful.
Y'all got to go
So
there.
it's permanently, perpetually protected with our easement
Beautiful.
back there.
Yes.
So, and what we did was, we raised money to help her move it, and in exchange for giving her that money to help move it, she gave us the easement. And that's how that worked. So now it has a public source. It has to be open to the public at least twice a year, things like that. So, the Kibler cabin. This is the thing that we're so excited about, and look at it, you don't think there's much to be excited about. It's gone through a lot of time of neglect and being used for storage, but after some time and work and elbow grease and clean it up, that's what it looks like now. And it is absolutely an incredible building, but it's a huge mystery, and it's one that we love to share and talk about. So what happened was, this place is on property, and you can see where the trailer is back there. It's only on 0.2 acres, and it cannot stay there. As much as we try to keep places in place, I've already showed you 3 others that had to be moved. This one has to be moved too, and we hate doing that, but we have no choice. We're going to save it. But what makes it so amazing, besides of the log cabin and stuff, is the wonderful, and sorry for the spider webs, my wife always fusses at me for not cleaning it up first, but I'm kind of a guy, I don't think of those things when I take the pictures. But strap hinges on the original shutters, and this. This is a rose head nail. Now, every time people see the square nails and say those are handmade nails, those actually are not handmade nails. Those are machine-made nails that you see the big square heads. And they usually came about after 1810, 1820s. This is a true handmade nail. The way these things worked was British would trade long, thin rods, and they would send them up to blacksmiths, and blacksmiths would clip them and put them in a vise, make the ends pointing, put the ends up, and hit it twice with a hammer. Twice, boom.